Hey, good morning everyone, or good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are. This is Dan with Ledger Support. I'm glad to be back for another session of live support, I guess. This show doesn't have an official title, but basically the principle is always the same. I'm here to answer questions that you guys might have about your Ledger device. If you have any technical issue, I'm also here to help with that. Or if you want to chat about crypto, I'm also here for the banter. So just don't hesitate to drop your questions inside the chat. And as usual, I'll go sequentially, right? One question after another. So before we start, just a couple of things. So first of all, if you could drop a little yes in the chat, if you can hear me okay, that would be great. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me all right. Second, if you are coming to this stream through Twitter, okay, thank you guys, great. If you're coming from Twitter, just make sure you don't fall victim to fake accounts. There's a lot of scams, especially on Twitter, but not just on Twitter, on Discord as well. But it's always the same thing, fake support account or fake Ledger account or fake Ledger employee trying to, coming to you, offering support, but very quickly they will share a link to a website that is scammy and will ask you your recovery phrase, or they will ask you to share your recovery phrase. Not very subtle, but sometimes they also do that. Again, guys, your recovery phrase is for your eyes only. Okay, if you share it, you will lose your funds. If you give me your recovery phrase, I will be able to drain your accounts, even if I don't have access to your device. So again, it's super important that you keep your recovery phrase safe and never share it with anyone. Okay, so that was the first thing. The second thing is we currently have an offer, special offer for the Bitcoin halving. It's available on the Ledger store. There is a video, there's a link in the video description as well to the halving offer. And of course, as its name suggests, this is an offer that will celebrate the Bitcoin halving. So the halving will happen on April 20th, but the offer doesn't last until April 20th. It lasts until tomorrow. So you have all of today and all of tomorrow to get your device. And you can get free Bitcoin whenever you buy a device. So it's a good time to buy a new device or backup device or offer a Ledger as well. Cool. Anyway, there's a link in the video description if you're interested. If not, I'll start with the questions, and I can see there is quite a bit of questions in the chat. So the first one is Cineric BTC halving in less than 5 days. I'm very excited for this bull run. So am I. What do you think? Do you think the price will go up, down, flat? I think I also of the view that over time the halving is super bullish, because if you assume that the demand stay constant, the fact that the supply schedule will be halved is super bullish. But we'll see. We'll see. Sometimes the markets it takes time for the market to react to reduction in supply. So we shall see. But I'm optimistic as well. Next question from Hamza SHK. How to start the Ledger Nano X? And that's a good question. I'm assuming that you are a new user, Hamza. So what I can do instead of explaining how to do it is to share a video that you can watch in your own time to just get ready, get started with a Nano X. So I'll share the video first, and then you need to be on the Ledger on the Ledger channel here, and we have a video that's called Nano X, I believe. Nano X. How to set up your Nano X. That's the one. So you'll notice the video is a bit old. So Ledger Live will look a little different than what it is today, but the steps are the same. Okay, so you can just watch the video and just go through each step, Hamza. One thing that's super important that I can never repeat enough, and by the way, I just dropped the link in the chat for you. One thing I will never stop repeating is that when you set up your device for the first time, right, the device will show you 24 words and you'll be prompted to write the 24 words on your recovery sheet. Those words are super important because they represent your private keys. If you share those words with anyone, they will be able to access your account. So you should never share your words. The only safe place to keep them is on the recovery sheet. Never type them anywhere. Never share them. Ledger will never ask you for your words. Okay, next question from Sina Dorch. Sorry about that. So Sina is asking, hello, I have the newest Ledger Live software from Ledger, but I still can see the scam NFTs, which I got sent all day long. Yeah, so this is normal, Sina. I mean, there's two things going on here. The first one is we do have the latest version of Ledger Live, so that would be 2.77.2. This is the version here that I'm running here. You can verify your version number by going to settings, about, and it's under the version number here. So one thing to keep in mind is this version does have a scam NFT filter. So for example, if you go into your Polygon account, you'll probably notice that all the scammy NFTs that previously were in your clogging your gallery here are gone. And even if you've got a few still showing in that section, right, and we are in the account section of Ledger Live, you can still right click on them and just hide them just like this. This one is not a scam, by the way, but just showing you how to do it. Now, one thing to keep in mind though is the filter doesn't work on the portfolio section. Okay, it only works on the account section. So if you navigate to portfolio here and you go to latest operations, you might see some scammy NFTs here, and you can see one of them here. NFT received 5 ETH, so that's a scam. And there is no way for me to hide this because it's a transaction. It's not a gallery, right? So it's a transaction, and unfortunately, there is nothing I can do here. So my best recommendation is that you actually don't touch, just ignore those transactions. Don't try to move the NFT out of your account. Don't try to burn them by sending them to a different address. Just don't interact with them. Certainly do not follow any links that came with the NFT. Just ignore them and you'll be fine. And hopefully in the future we'll make the filter a little better as well. Next question from Ice Crypto Rain. When I send out ING, Ledger reminds me that I need to switch on expert mode. Is it safe? Yes, it is safe, and that's normal if you don't have expert mode activated on your Ledger device. Then you won't be able to do anything with ING. You won't be able to stake it either. So I would definitely recommend that you use expert mode. It's completely safe as well. I've staked my ING. I don't have a lot, but I've done it in the past, and it's completely safe, right? It's just the requirements for that particular chain. In case you don't know how to do it, it's pretty easy. You just navigate inside the ING app that I probably don't have. Hang on, I'll just show you real quick how to do it. Make sure you activate expert mode before you actually try to interact with your ING account. And I'm stupid. It's using the Cosmos account, of course, because ING is on Cosmos. So you open the Cosmos app just like this. You use the right button to navigate to expert mode, and you make sure it says enabled here. If it doesn't, you can use both buttons like this to toggle between enabled and disabled. So make sure this is enabled before you start using ING, and then you can go back to Cosmos ready like this, and then do your transaction or staking or anything else. And you should be good, and don't worry, it's not dangerous. And no worries, Sina. If you have any other questions, go for it. Drop them in the chat. All right, next question, Top G. Why is there no 48 words recovery phrase? Okay, interesting question. I guess we could, right? We could double the number of words that will make the recovery phrase even more secure. But, you know, your recovery phrase words all come from a list called the BIP 39 list. And this list it's actually a public list. If you type BIP 39 on Google here, you'll find the list here. And there is a lot of words on this list. See, like there is over 2,000 words on this list. And so the number of combinations for, you know, out of 2,048 words for a 24-word recovery phrase is just mind-bogglingly huge. It's such a big number that basically no amount of guessing will ever allow anyone to guess a recovery phrase that has funds. Okay, there's just too many of them. So of course, if you double the number of words, you would make it even more secure, but that would be overkill, to be honest. 24 words is enough, and that's the reason why we just use 24. Also, you know, it's kind of a standard across different wallets. So the industry has settled for 24 words, and that makes a recovery phrase compatible with different wallets as well. So if you want to move your private keys to a Trezor device or whatever other software wallets, then you know, they will usually let you type 24 words, but not 48. So that's the main reason. Okay, so hope that answers the question, Top G. But technically, yes, we could do it, but would that be useful? Not really. 24 words is already like extremely secure. Okay, next question from Sinric. Does Ledger ever intend to go open source? With the recent drama around Ledger Recover, I'm sure many users are concerned about the possibility of hidden backdoors in the code. How can we be reassured that Ledger is still the safest hardware wallet on the market? Yeah, so that's, I would say this is a legit concern, but just it's not a very well-known fact, but most of Ledger is already open source, and most of the parts that really matter are already open source. So let me give you an example. Ledger Live, completely open source. If you go to Ledger HQ on GitHub, you'll find Ledger Live. It's completely open source. What's also open source is the code for each app. So when you manipulate private keys and you sign transaction, you know that you need an app on your Ledger device to sign those transactions. These apps are able to directly interact with your private keys. So the code is really important because it shows you what the device is able to do with those private keys. So the fact that that part is open source actually should reassure, like most people. Then there is the question of the firmware, the OS, and this is not completely open source yet, but we are working on it because we know that the community want like complete open sourcing. The problem being that Ledger is using a type of chip to protect the private keys called a secure element, and we have NDAs signed with the company that produces those secure elements. And so this is key to our security model as well. Okay, so we cannot open source the parts of the code that are under NDA because that would actually open some security issues. So that's the reason why it's not completely open source. And I know there are wallets out there that have this complete open source model like Trezor, but at Ledger, we believe that a hybrid model is actually just as safe. And again, you know, it's not because a project says, hey, here's the code and this is what's going into the device, that you can actually verify that this is the code that's going into the device, right? So open source is not a magic bullet. But yeah, this is Ledger stance on open sourcing. So we open sourcing as much as we can, but it's not 100% open source. Last thing on Recover specifically, so we are open sourcing as much as we can of the Recover code as well, because a lot of people were worried. But I'm just here to tell you guys that Recover is, first of all, it's optional. Second of all, it's really safe. And if you don't like it, you don't have to use it. So I hope that answers the question, but completely fine question, very legitimate, and feel free to ask more. Okay, next question from Xmetric. Any idea when there will be an upgrade for Ledger Live UI? Yeah, that's a good question. So we are always dropping new release of Ledger Live. So currently we are on version 2.77.2, and each new version fixes bugs or introduces some new UI tweaks and improvements, hopefully. But you're right. I think Ledger Live could use with a bit of modern, like refresh. It could be refreshed a bit, but some people actually like it. I don't really have a strong opinion on this, but yeah, it's fair. It's really never. It's UI is never something that's fixed. You always need to build on your model to make UI better, and that's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to get your feedback to make Ledger Live better. So actually, if you have any particular example in mind, I'm happy to escalate that. But yeah, in the meantime, what you can do is just make sure to keep your app up to date. That's the best way to have an improved UI over time as well. All right, I'm gonna drink a bit. All right, so moving on. Imran H is asking, do you need KYC to swap between ETH and BTC or even USDT? So Imran, it depends on the service you are going to use in Ledger Live. There are different kinds of swap services, right? In Ledger Live, some services do have KYC. For example, Changely might require KYC if you swap a big amount. But some exchanges are DEXs, and those don't require KYC because all the transactions happen on-chain via smart contracts. So for example, if you have some ETH in your, let's say, Base account or Ethereum account, you can use something like 1inch, 1inch here to swap ETH for USDT without any form of KYC. Okay, it's just directly from wallet to wallet. So yeah, so it's here. 1inch is in the Discover section, and yeah, so that's one way to not do KYC. But of course, if you use other providers, might have KYC policies, and because they are partners, they are not services offered by Ledger, then people that want to use their services will have to comply to their policies. Okay, next question. DRH Younes. My Ledger Live desktop does not ask me for lock password anymore. I went into the settings and found that the password option had been toggled. Also, I didn't make any update because I already have the final version. Yeah, you can just, it's possible that, the password thing is locally encrypted on your machine. Sometimes Ledger Live will have some glitch, and it's possible that the password gets forgotten, so to speak. But two things. First of all, you can always, if the password is gone and you didn't change it, well, first of all, make sure nobody has access to your computer and password. Although even if they have access to your computer and Ledger Live password, they cannot move the funds because they need access to the device as well. So, Ledger Live doesn't store anything. It's just here to help you manage your accounts. Second of all, if the password has disappeared, it might be because you reset Ledger Live. Resetting Ledger Live will automatically erase the password. So you have to go back into the settings here and activate the password again. It's here, password lock. You can choose your password. Okay. But I wouldn't panic about the password. And again, it's not because someone has access to your Ledger Live and password that they can move your coins. Okay, they need access to the device as well. Okay, next question from Dirty. Why does interacting with smart contracts require to disable blind signing? What exactly does this mean? Does it mean? Yeah, it's a good question, Dirty. So the reason why blind signing exists is because each smart contract has their own way to provide data and handle data and do calls to other smart contracts in the blockchain. So, you can package any type of smart contracts are like programs, right? You can make them do whatever you want within the constraint of the programming language you're using. So for example, Solidity or Rust or Seahorse, these kind of languages, right? So the amount of data a smart contract can return is potentially unlimited. And so keeping that in mind, LedgerLive can provide clear signing on a certain amount of data that a smart contract can provide. So if a smart contract, I'm not explaining that very well. Sorry, I lost my train of thought here. But basically, like blind signing means that LedgerLive or your Ledger device is not able to read all the data that the smart contract is sending to your device and presents it to you in a way that you might understand or the device might understand. And that's why all you get is just a bunch of numbers and letters. So this is blind signing, meaning that you don't really know what you're signing and you're blind when you sign in a transaction. However, the difference between blind signing and clear signing is that if you use an app that is implemented in LedgerLive, for example, in the Discover section, then this app has been sort of optimized so that LedgerLive in your Ledger device can read all the calls that the smart contract is going to make. So that's why we recommend that, especially if you're new to crypto, just stay within LedgerLive, use the apps within the Discover section, and just get used to signing transactions while clear signing. Blind signing is always dangerous because you never know what's going on your device. You can never be sure unless you can read the code in a smart contract, which a lot of people cannot. So sorry, there was a bit of a long explanation here. I hope that answers the question. But it's all about the amount of data that your Ledger device can process and return to you in human readable form. When you cannot, you blind sign. When you can, and you know exactly what the transaction is going to do, that's called clear signing. And clear signing is always here by default in LedgerLive. That's why people use LedgerLive. Maybe that was better explained this way. Okay, next. Jo, please confirm if LedgerLive NanoX supports storage of all the tokens on Ethereum chain, Binance Smart Chain, Solana blockchain, Avalanche blockchain. Thanks. Okay. So no, the answer is like it doesn't support all the tokens on those chains. It does support tokens on Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Solana, and Avalanche. Maybe I haven't used it in a while. Yes, Avalanche, some of them, but not all of them. Now, when it comes to Solana, LedgerLive cannot detect tokens sent to your Solana account. So it's safe to send Solana tokens to your Solana account in LedgerLive, but LedgerLive will not be able to detect those tokens. So you will not see them in the app, although they are in the wallet. I know it's a bit counterintuitive, but it's the way LedgerLive works. When it comes to tokens on Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, and a lot of other networks, LedgerLive can only detect the tokens that it supports. We actually have a list of supported tokens, aka the tokens that will show in LedgerLive, and you can find this list here on the Help Center. It's called Supported Coins and Tokens in LedgerLive, and you can just use that to verify if a token will show if you send it to that particular account. I'll drop this link for you in the chat, Jo. You can use it. Also, if you send a Solana token to your Solana account, again, it will not show in LedgerLive, but you can use a third-party wallet, for example, Solflare, connected to your Ledger device to access those tokens. Yeah, and if it's a token on Ethereum or OP mainnet or base, you can use Zerion, which is located in the Discover section here, to see more tokens. So you can see Zerion like supports quite a lot of chains here, and typically Zerion detects more tokens than Ledger Live. Okay, next question from NerdyX. Yeah, hello. Anna, is there a website that posts and compares fee for the different exchanges? I am not sure. Maybe there is one, but I don't know it. If not, typically exchanges have their fee policy posted somewhere on the Help Center. So you might just have to go exchange per exchange, Help Center per Help Center, and look for those manually. Yeah, so there is no way to interact with the DEX without disabling blind signing. If you are using the DEX outside of Ledger Live, no, you can only blind sign. But if you use the same DEX inside of Ledger Live, it's the same DEX, right? It's just the interface is different. Then you'll be able to clear sign. If you have any particular transaction in mind, Dirty, you can tell me. I can recommend like a DEX that it's safe. But if it's generally on an EVM chain, so Optimism, Ethereum, Arbitrum, one of those chains, I would recommend to use a 1inch or Paraswap, because those will let you clear sign, so you don't have to blind sign with 1inch, and 1inch can do quite a lot of swaps. Okay, next question. So Eunice, that was the lock screen. The lock screen, I think, might be because you reset Ledger Live. Well, there was an issue when Ledger Live updated and it just killed the password for whatever reason. But again, don't worry. The password is just here. It's mostly for privacy reason. So if someone has access to your computer, they cannot look inside Ledger Live and see how many coins you have. But someone with your Ledger Live password will never be able to access your coins, as long as they don't have access to your Ledger device. And so you say, I forgot to mention that I only make OS Windows update. Can this be the issue? Yeah, I would say that's probably the issue. Maybe your computer went a little crazy, or Ledger Live had an issue when you booted, and yeah, that's why. Again, not a big deal. Next question from Lip Street Media. Are my Ledger crypto assets pooled in another account? How can I be sure my assets are my own and not an equitable interest in another account? Thank you. Okay, so you probably have in mind what happened with FTX, where FTX had control of all the wallets deposited and all the assets deposited on the platform, and they misappropriated the funds and so on. The thing is, Ledger and Ledger Live is very different from an exchange. You are the only person that has access to your account. And that's why you get a recovery phrase when you set up the device. This recovery phrase represents your private keys. So yeah, it means that nobody can touch your accounts because you're the only one to have the recovery phrase. But it also means that if someone gets the recovery phrase, then they can access your accounts. So yeah, so it's very, very important, guys, to differentiate between an exchange, so FTX, Binance, Coinbase, and so on, Kraken, and Ledger Live and Ledger device. Okay, your Ledger device is your own wallet. If you use an exchange, however, you have to use the exchange's wallet, and they hold the private keys. So I hope that answers the question. And so to also answer the pool question, your assets are not pooled because you're the only person that can pool them if you decide to do it. There are some solutions to pool assets, but it's not like we do it for you. Since you have your private keys, you have to decide to do it. So for example, there is a staking solution in Ledger Live called Killen. Killen will let you pool assets with other people, ETH coins, and this way you can stake, right? But only you can decide to do it. We cannot force you to do it, and we cannot access your coins. Okay, next question. Zoltan. Hi, I did swap Doge for BTC in the ledger. You swapped $107 and the network fee was $50. How can I make sure how much is the fee? I did not see anywhere the fee for that. Thank you for being here. I did look, there are 2 fees. Okay, thanks Zoltan. So yeah, you probably used the swap option here and you did swap Doge for BTC. Okay, so I don't have Doge in my account, but maybe I can try to show you a swap with another currency. Okay, it won't let me do it because I don't have enough. I don't have the minimum required to even swap. But yeah, there are multiple fees. The fee that matter is, so first of all, you should always select fixed rate, not floating rate, because floating rate, you sort of put yourself at the mercy of the markets moving while you're doing the swap. So always use the fixed rate. You'll have a better understanding of what the fee is going to be like. The service that does the fee also take a commission. Also the fee itself, if it's a network fee, that will depend on the congestion on the network. So, you know, Bitcoin, depending on when you swapped Doge fees are cheap, but the other side of the transaction, Bitcoin, can be very expensive, especially if you are transacting in a time where a lot of people are using Bitcoin as well. Also, that being said, it's possible that the fee you saw, the Bitcoin fee you saw for the transaction moving the Bitcoin to your account was actually a batch transaction where the swap provider actually sent Bitcoin to multiple accounts and they paid one fee for all these different transactions. So that might be why you're seeing like a huge fee for this transaction, but you actually did not pay that much. So maybe that's the reason why. Eunice, an easy way to test the seed phrase in Ledger without wiping and restoring? Yes, there is one. It's called the recovery check. And it's basically an app that you install on your Ledger device. And then you will type your words inside the device. And the device will say, hey, I know this recovery phrase, or hey, I don't know this recovery phrase. And that's it. If you fail the test, no worries. The device will not reset or do anything crazy. It will just tell you like, hey, the words you type, I don't know these words. So you know that there is something wrong with the recovery phrase. So again, it's called a recovery check. And we have a tutorial here that I will share in the chat with you. Eunice, dear RH, Eunice, yeah. Just check the link. Okie doke. Okay, next is a name that could be Chinese or Korean. I'm not sure, but the question is, or Japanese maybe, how to add ICP network. I will just share a link to a tutorial that will tell you like how to do it. Everything is explained here. I'll just drop that in the chat for you. Just check the latest. Just check the link at the bottom, the last link here. Okay, Rexy, how far away is support for Arweave in Ledger? So I haven't looked at Arweave for quite a long time, but I think it's not supported for NanoX. I don't think there is a plan to support it for the NanoX, so I think it's NanoS Plus only for now. Arweave. Yeah, so it's only available for the NanoS and NanoS Plus, and not the NanoX, not for NanoX users. Yeah, I don't think there is a plan to support it on the NanoX, unfortunately. Next question from Stagic. What are your plans on integrating Solana's ecosystem into the Ledger app? Okay, a good question. I would say, first of all, we need to integrate tokens, right? Because right now, if you send tokens to your Solana accounts, they will not be shown in Ledger Live, which is annoying. You have to use a third-party wallet. Second, we need to integrate priority fees. That gets a little technical, but that's one of the reasons why transactions have been failing in LedgerLive. It's because LedgerLive doesn't have priority fees implemented yet. So that should help with transaction failing into LedgerLive, although that will not fix the issue because the issue is more with the Solana blockchain itself. But the fact that there are no priority fees in LedgerLive makes it worse. So again, first would be tokens, second priority fees, and I think third would be it would be nice to have a DEX here in the discover section, something like Jupiter maybe, and maybe down the line an NFT market in a discover section. That would be great as well. And you're welcome, Eunice. If you have more questions, just drop them in the chat, right? Depeche Mode, hello. I'm here for that, right? That's the reason why I'm live, to give you instant answer whenever I can, of course. Okay, next, board and flying. Drop the stacks, nothing else matters. Yeah, I know, you guys have been waiting for a long time. I've been waiting for a long time for my stacks as well, because I ordered it when it was announced. I'm pretty optimistic that the stacks will be released sometime this year. It's not a promise, of course, but just knowing a bit of what's going on the inside, I think we almost there. If you are a pre-order, we did send an email with an update, so yeah, just check that out. But yeah, next, Jose Lenny Solidum. I'm presently staking my Cardano on Ledger. Do I need to undelegate my staking if I intend to send an ADA to an exchange? Or could I just send from Ledger to the exchange without unstaking? You don't need to unstake. You can just move them. Cardano is cool for that, where you don't need, once your staking is going, then you don't need to unstake. You just move the coins. Your stake is always liquid, which is very different from other blockchains like Ethereum or Solana, or most blockchains, I would say, actually. With Cardano, this is I've got a stake, 23 ADA here. I could move that balance right now and there wouldn't be any issue. That's it. And if later I still want to stake, I can just move some ADA back onto this account and I'm back into staking. I don't need to do anything else. So you don't need to, end the delegation here. You don't have to do it. Okay. Ice Crypto Rain. I saw on Ledger website, Ledger supports with, that's dog with hat on Sol, but in fact I found Ledger can't add with on Solana in it. There hasn't, okay, it's on ETH, definitely with is only on Sol, so they are the same, or no, they're not the same, it's probably a different token on Ethereum. So do not send your with to your Ethereum account. With is just on Solana. You can send your with to your Solana account in LedgerLive, but yeah, LedgerLive does not detect SPL tokens, so your with will not show in the app, but it will be in the account. But if you want to move them or access them and do whatever else with it, you will need to connect your Ledger device to a third-party wallet such as Solflare. Would recommend Solflare. Phantom is also a good option. Backpack, I mean, there's tons of them. But yeah, so but whatever you do not send your tokens to Ethereum. Next question, Dirty. Okay, so that was the question about blind signing. Okay, I've answered that one. John Nicholson, can you connect Phantom Wallet to NanoX to view Solana tokens? Yes, you can. Yes, you can, and we do have documentation on how to do it, John, and I'll share that with you right now in the chat so you can take a look. Just so you know, it's not the only Solana third-party wallet that's available. So yeah, I mean, Phantom is great, Solflare is also a good one, Backpack, all of them are compatible, and you can connect your Ledger wallet. You can connect your Ledger device to any of them and you will find exactly the same accounts. Okay, next question. Pupilo TV. I can't swap coins on my Ledger, either on my laptop or my phone. Why? Hello, I hope you're having a great day. Yeah. Thank you, mate. I hope you're having a great day as well. So this is a little too vague, unfortunately, for me to answer the question. So could be that things are not up to date on your setup, Pupillo. So I would start with that. Okay, I would start with just updating absolutely everything. So Ledger Live, device firmware, the apps, and then try again and see if that solves the issue. Typically, like updating your setup will solve most of the issues. So start with that and then try to swap again and then let me know. Also, it would help if you told me like which swap service provider you're actually using or trying to use. Are you just using the swap button here? Are you using something fancier in the discover section? Just give me more context. Next question from Amber. But Ledger has access to our recovery phrase with Ledger Recovery. No, it doesn't. So I think Ledger Recovery is misunderstood. So first of all, Ledger Recover is optional, right? So if you don't like it, it's turned off by default and you have to actively sign up for it and you actually have to pay for it. So if you want to use it, and it's a good backup solution, but it's optional, and by default, you're not signed up. So you have to actively sign for Recover by going through this flow here. If you don't sign up, then Ledger Recover doesn't work for you. So that's the first thing. And then even if you are a Recover subscriber, then technically the way it works is your seed, which is the random number that is inside your device that creates all your private keys. The seed gets split within your device into 3 different shards, and the shards are being distributed to 3 different custodians, and Ledger is only one custodian. And once the shards are distributed, those shards are independently re-encrypted, so they are never decrypted, and to make things even more secure, they are encrypted a second time at the custodian, right? So the custodian don't have knowledge of the shard. They can't do anything with it because one shard is not enough, and they don't have they can't even decrypt it, right? The only thing they do is like they re-encrypt something that's already encrypted for security. So it's a really safe system. So technically, it's not correct to say that Ledger has access to recovery phrase with Ledger Recover. Again, the recovery phrase, the only person that has access to it is you, and it's on your Ledger card. Mello, you're welcome. We're doing this almost every single day. If you have any questions, go for it. Type in the chat. I'm gonna be here for another 15-20 minutes. So yeah, make the most out of it. Next. Dirty. I've been using QuickSwap for Polygon tokens and Trader Joe for AVAX and Jupiter for Solana, chasing those 100% memes. Yes, yeah, 100%. Those are good options for dexes. I love Jupiter. Avalanche, I've never used Trader Joe. I just know it exists. QuickSwap, very reliable. It's like Uniswap on Polygon. Jupiter is crushing it. I hope we do get like a Discover integration for Jupiter. That would be amazing. But Solana has to fix its congestion issue first, and that's a big one. Tron. Hey, I have a question. My Ledger S brightness is very low, and I can hardly see what the digits to unlock it is. What do I need to do? So there's many things you can do. First of all, there's an option to increase the brightness. So you can try that, Tron. It's in the settings. Hang on. Brightness. I can't spell brightness. You'll have to excuse me. Okay, I really can't spell brightness to the. There you go. Sorry about that. All right, so that's the first thing you should do. Try to go into the device settings and increase the brightness if it's not already to the max. So that's the first thing you do. Tron, I'll share this article with you. Second thing, change the cable as well. That might affect the, how much power is being transmitted to the device and affect the display. What else can you do? Yeah, cable brightness, maybe clean the connector as well. Make sure there is no grime in the connector as well. That can also affect how much power is delivered to the device. If, that's no use, you should reach out to us, and we do offer discounts for people that want to upgrade from a Nano S to a Nano S Plus, which is, the UX is so much better than a Nano S, honestly, that I would recommend that you reach out and get a Nano S Plus. You will absolutely love it. It's the same vibe as using a Nano S, but much better. Bigger screen, which is great. Better buttons, more space on the device as well to install apps. I mean, it's just a much better device. So now, how do you request a discount? You go to support.ledger.com. There is a link in the video description. You go to the contact us section here. You have a conversation with the bot, and then you explain your issue with the screen, and you just request a discount code. We'll give you, I think it's 20 euros for a discount code. You can keep the Nano S Plus. You can keep your current device. You can use it as a backup device, and you can use the 20 bucks to buy a Ledger. And guess what? We actually have a promotion here that runs until the 16th of April, so you still have a couple days to do it. This one is to celebrate the Bitcoin halving, and it's a good time to buy a new device or buy a backup pack or metal seed storage. I mean, there is a lot of good stuff. If you guys are interested, there's a link in the video description to the promotion. You buy a device and you get Bitcoin. You get a Bitcoin gift card with your device. It's a pretty cool promotion. The brightness is at max. Okay, so reach out to us. I would say we'll give you a discount. Keep your Nano S, buy a new device. It's probably the best thing you can do. I know that Nano S is a good device, very secure, but Nano S Plus, just as secure, but the user experience is much better. Trust me. Okay, next question. Eric, I transfer Tether token to the wrong network. Please help me. Why did you transfer the tokens, Eric? So you don't need to panic. Your tokens are safe. As long as you use an address that was given to you by Ledger Live, you're fine. But there might be a few steps before you can get the tokens. Yeah, you're welcome, Tron. Let me share this link as well with you. That's for the promotion. If not, you can just go to support.ledger.com and open a ticket. Okay. So Eric, please give me some more information about where did you send the tokens? Is it on Ethereum? Is it on a different network? CoinBob, how to stake my Cardano. Okay, easy, CoinBob. You just add a Cardano account just like this using your Ledger device. Once you get an account, you send ADA to your account, okay, from an exchange. Then you just click the stake button. You go through the process, you validate the transaction with your Ledger device, and that's it. Nothing else you need to do. Just keep in mind that the first staking rewards will take 25 days to get into your accounts. Up to 25 days, but typically between 20 and 25 days. So just keep that in mind. But that's it. Cardano staking is probably one of the easiest UX in crypto, up there with Solana, I would say. It's very easy to get started staking on Cardano. We also have a tutorial that I will share with you. Stake NDA. Yeah, here. I'll drop this link in the chat for you. CoinBob. Sorry, I forgot your name for a second. Yeah, so just check the chat. It's at the bottom here. Okay. All right, next question. Duke Styles. In 20 years, will it be still possible to access our current Ledger devices? How long will Ledger support its own product? I think it will still be possible, but you will need to keep your Ledger devices up to date. If not, they might not become compatible with Ledger Live anymore, or whatever replaces Ledger Live in the future, but they might still be compatible with other third-party wallets. So I would say you're pretty safe in terms of compatibility, but just keep your device up to date. I think that's the best thing you can do. So make sure that the firmware is up to date, make sure the apps are up to date, make sure Ledger Live is up to date, and you should never have any serious issues. And even if your device dies, and for whatever reason, like let's say Ledger stops supporting Ledger devices, I don't know why we would do this, but let's imagine you still have your recovery phrase. So if you want to move your crypto to a different device, then you can still do it with your recovery phrase. So you don't have to worry about your devices just being obsolete and your coins getting stuck. As long as you have a recovery phrase, you still have access to your crypto, always. Neo, when Chia XCH on Ledger? I don't know, Neo, unfortunately. It could be a long time. I think right now we have to ship some important features for bigger blockchains, unfortunately, because that's where most of the users are currently. So your best bet is to just to wait. I don't know if Chia is supported as an app. Maybe. Chia. No, okay. I'll escalate the question though. It might be, if there is a big community and the Chia team wants to. By the way, the Chia team can always reach out. We have developer portal. Yeah, so they can reach out to us and we can work together to ship an app for the Chia token. So I'll share that with you, Neo, and you can share that with the Neo team as well. Okay, next, Depeche Mode. I received a scam NFT to my Ethereum address. Is it safe to send it to burner address? No, don't do it. It's not safe. It's not safe because you don't know what this NFT is doing under the hood, right? Under the NFT, there is a smart contract. The smart contract might be very malicious. You might try to trick you into signing a transaction that actually gives the smart contract access to more crypto on your accounts. So you just don't do it. Don't do it. Just ignore it. Okay. The NFT cannot hurt you as long as it's, if it's just sitting on your account, it cannot do anything. But you will get into issues if you start trying to move them, or if you start following links, things like that. So just please don't do it. Ignore it, yeah, that's the safest thing you can do. I'll share some. Hang on, share the link. We have a tutorial called malicious. Okay, how to handle malicious NFTs. I'll drop that for you. Depeche Mode. All right, next. Eunice, is that normal that the UST value change? Sometimes, for example, if you have $100, sometimes shows less, and sometimes shows more. It's not stable. Well, yeah, I mean, two things can be happening here. Sometimes it's just because the price of crypto is crazy and goes up and down, is very volatile. And the reason why it's volatile is because there isn't a lot of liquidity in the crypto markets. So it doesn't take much money to move a crypto market. So that's one reason. As a consequence, sometimes Ledger Live will get bad data from, marketplaces because the price can change so much, so fast. This information has to propagate to everyone that's interested in knowing the price. And, it's limited by technology, right? So you might see discrepancies in price between exchange and Ledger Live, but typically those resolve. They resolve over time. And if not, you can always go into settings, help, and you can clear the cache here, Ledger will forget the price data and resync with the price data provider and hopefully correct the issue. Next question, Brucey Kibbutz. I recommend using Ledger Live as little as possible and just relying on the third-party stuff. It's always more up-to-date. So yeah, I think I understand where you're coming from, Brucey. Ledger Live is it's very beginner friendly. I think it's great for people that are just starting in crypto or people that want the clear sign. And I was like you, I was really, even before I worked for Ledger, I had a Ledger device, but I was using third-party wallets all the time. I do appreciate the fact that now in the Discover section, there are a lot of apps that I actually use and I can clear sign. So that's something that I really like about Ledger Live. So I would say it depends on what you want to do. But yes, if you want the latest updates, like bleeding edge feature, then Ledger Live is not going to be there, because what we do is we always put safety first. So that's why we don't ship, we don't ship all those features. And also there are so many blockchains that we just don't have the bandwidth to focus on all the latest features for any chains. It would take so many engineers to do it. And Ledger Live is very ambitious. It's trying to do a lot of things. So yeah, so it's good to actually have both, right? Next question, Mellow. Okay, so I understand. I answered that. Astro Boy. Why does Ledger not have the option to sell? There is an option to sell. You just go to buy, sell here. Sell. You can only use Bitcoin here, but if you are located in Europe, you can use BTC Direct here. BTC Direct has more selling options here, and you can sell directly into your bank accounts. Check this out. Again, it's called BTC Direct, and you can find it in the Discover section here. For TVS, why the hell is Ledger Live asking me to update my firmware just to send Solana? It's asking you to update your firmware because to send Solana, you might need the latest version of the Solana app on your device. And if you don't have the latest version of the firmware, you will not be able to have the latest version of the Solana app. I would recommend that you keep your device up to date at all time. It's just best practice. And here's a guide that will get you up to date, not just the device, but also Ledger Live. Typically, you want to update Ledger Live, the firmware, and then the app. It's just best practice to do it. And again, updates are here to protect you as well. They offer more features and also more security. So definitely do it. All right, a few more questions. John, how do I add or switch to base network in Zerion? Certain base token appear in Zerion, but not Ledger Live, and vice versa. Yes. So the problem with Zerion, Zerion is kind of weird because you can see more tokens. It detects more tokens into your account. You can see on base, or let's say on Ethereum, it will detect way more tokens that I see in Ledger Live. But the problem is that Zerion cannot communicate with all your accounts, right? You cannot use Zerion to manage those accounts, or not all of them at least. You can use Zerion, so if you click change account here at the top, you have three options: Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and Polygon. Those are the only blockchain that you can, the only accounts that you can actually send and receive using Zerion. If you want to use Base, however, you can see your tokens, but you cannot move them because of that. And that's something we're working on. There has been internal request actually to add more options here. So you can manage your base account using Zerion, but for now it's not supported yet, but it should be coming. All right, next question. James, I unbonded Polkadot over months ago, but still can't swap it for anything. Make sure to withdraw. You unbonded the Polkadot. Okay, yeah, you unbonded the Polkadot, but have you withdrawn the Polkadot back to your available balance as well? That's the last thing you should do. If not, if you can't swap it, it might just be because there is no Polkadot is not supported as a swap option. That's also a possibility. I think it is, but yeah, it is. Make sure Ledger Live is up to date as well, right? If there is a notification banner, like update Ledger Live. But first, withdraw. Unbonding is just the first part of unstaking, right? You still need to withdraw after 28 days. All right, next and probably last questions for me. Ines, hi Dan, Ledger 1 stopped responding, my ledger stopped responding, but a new ledger, got the keys from Ledger 1, try to insert them into the new ledger, done so successfully, however, the coins are not showing. So Ines, are you sure you actually selected the correct option when you reset the device? Because the device will give you two options. It will say, set up as new device. If you do this, you will create a new recovery phrase with empty accounts, or there's an option called restore with recovery phrase, and this is where you type your recovery phrase. Yeah, so if you selected the wrong option, it's a recovery phrase issue, 100%, mate. So either you're not using the correct recovery phrase, or you have another recovery phrase that's actually securing the coins, or yeah, it must be that. It must be that. But James, update Ledger Live. That might solve the issue. So yeah, Ines, it's definitely the recovery phrase. So there's something that went wrong. I would say probably just like reset the device one more time. Just, sit down somewhere quiet and just go through the process of typing the words one more time. If you have a passphrase as well, you'll need to activate the passphrase. And no, you cannot withdraw to external wallet without confirming through Ledger. So okay, last question, and then I'll need to go. Can I only swap in BTC to sell? Yes. Or if you are in Europe, MJ, you can use BTC Direct in the Discover section here. This one, to sell Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, XLM, USDT into your bank account. And XXX8, will quantum computing be a risk to Ledger and other cold storage wallets due to them having the ability to crack seed phrase? Maybe in the very distant future, but there's also like countermeasures. You will know when quantum computing. So currently it's not. Just to be clear, there's an article on the Ledger Academy that talks about it. In the future, quantum computing you'll see it coming, and the blockchains and Ledger will have time to update its cryptography to make it quantum resistant. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Okay, James, what you can do, I'll be live tomorrow as well, but you should definitely reach out via the support.ledger.com here, open a ticket, okay, and explain the issue. But first, just go through the process of resetting the device, try the recovery phrase again, and see if that works. That might fix it. Okay, dead airdrop. The dead airdrop is supported, kind of, but you need to go into the asset hub. It's a little complicated, but XXX8, I need to go now, but if you come tomorrow to the stream, I can show you live how to do it. Okay, thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Yeah, CET, so Paris time tomorrow. And in the meantime, don't get scammed, okay? Keep your recovery phrase for yourself and do not let anyone access your private keys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Stay safe.